When you're solving inequalities and you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must reverse the inequality sign. And this video is going to explain this in more detail. Okay, so here we have negative 2 times x is greater than or equal to 6. So to solve for x, we know we need to divide both sides by negative 2. So what happens if we divide both sides by negative 2 and just leave the inequality sign where it is? Let's see, divided by negative 2, divided by negative 2. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is just positive 1, so you get 1x, or just x, and then greater than or equal to 6 divided by negative 2, which is negative 3. So let's try and find an answer here that works for the inequality. Negative 2 times some number greater than or equal to 6. Well, I'm going to put negative 4. I know negative 4 works. So negative 4 times negative 2, that makes positive 8, and 8 is greater than or equal to 6. So negative 4 works for this first inequality. How about this one? Is negative 4 greater than or equal to negative 3? Well, the answer is no. Negative 4 is less. So what if I were to flip the inequality sign when I divide it instead? And that would have made it x is less than or equal to negative 3. Is negative 4 less than or equal to negative 3? Well, that one is yes. So this inequality, at least for that one value, seems to work. Now let's go ahead and load up the interactive graph and talk about it in more detail. So let's say we're starting right here, x greater than or equal to 0. Well, if I divide by a negative number, you're talking about the negative values instead of the positive, so it flips everything here. And to be consistent, you need to reverse the inequality sign because you're changing from greater than to less than. When you multiply or divide by negative, you're essentially doing this, changing the sign from positive to negative or negative to positive. Now with a single value, like solving for an equation, it doesn't matter if you flip it because you're talking about a single point. So if it was negative 2x equals 6, you divide and you get x equals negative 3, it would just be this single number right here. You wouldn't have to worry about all the values greater than or equal to. With an inequality, you have to flip it because all those numbers that were greater are now less. So then you slide it to negative 3, right there. And so your solutions are all the values that are less than or equal to negative 3.